The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, we go into the breach, dear friends. As we start off today, we've got the S&P's off about 7.5 points at 2065 with about 2.11 billion shares as we start the show. So volume still very light. When we look at the NASDAQ, off 17, Dow off about 64. More light and variable trading on the last couple of days of fund buying. And it's very tough to figure out whether everybody's just waiting till the last minute. But I would suspect maybe you've got just a little bit of a bounce coming either today or tomorrow, and that will finish up fund buying. But we certainly haven't had anything called volume come in yet. As always, we meet here at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
every trading day. And what else do we have going on? Well, I don't know. Let's just get to some history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating, and on this day in 2000, the year 2000, Wall Street has one of its wildest days ever. The NASDAQ drops 574.57 points. I'm going to say that again. The NASDAQ drops 574 points and 57 tenths points. That's a 13.6%. By lunchtime, the Dow falls 500 and some odd points, or 4.5. Both indexes struggle back, with the NASDAQ closing off just 74 points, and the Dow finishing off at 11,165, down 57. And this was the warning shot across the bow. If you didn't get shaken out on this, then you were destined to hold the stocks the rest of the year. If you did so and didn't get scared out by this, let me see it here. Analysts just shrug this off. A lot of nervous Nellies have fled, says Marshall Acuff, a Solomon Smith Barney production. The fundamentals have not changed for technology stocks, insists Thomas Galvin of Jonelson, Lufgren, and Genret. Wasn't they another stock or another company that blew up for some kind of malfeasance? I think they were. Anyway, at the middle, Charles Pradilla, we saw the beginning of the end of the correction in the technology stocks. Make that the beginning of the beginning. By year-end, the NASDAQ has fallen 40.5% from today. This year, probably not in severity, but in setup, looks very much like 2000. And that is, you've got a lot of people out here that are giving you all kinds of clues that maybe it's as good as it gets. I love that movie, by the way. Don't get to see it as often. It kind of went away. Still think it was a great movie. But anyway, as I divulge from our normal program out here, not a lot of stuff going on. Probably could talk about Putin for the rest of the day, but I don't know. People probably don't love it as much as I do, but it just makes me think that there is that it is art imitating life, imitating art again. If you've ever seen the whole trilogy from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, especially if you saw the original in its, I think it was in it's either Danish or Norwegian. Anyway, I couldn't understand it. Of course, it was in some kind of different language I didn't understand. Anyway, it was Nordic. We'll call it Nordic. But it had nice subtitles. Actually, a pretty good movie, a great book, and one of those books that you write a great book and you die only to find out about 5 years later that your widow's going to get about $500 million from all those movies and the books and everything else. But part of spoiler alert, 10 years later. I don't want any hateful emails about spoiling the plot of it. But there is this young hacker girl who goes after some fairly evil, powerful men, and basically divulges all the sources of their illegal income. I always wondered today why I was watching all the stuff about the hack of the Panama Bank, just how much that had to do with it. Did some young hacker at some point say, hey, I'm going to go after the biggest and the brightest? If you haven't seen the news on it, basically there's a Panama Bank, and they got all the documents from the bank. And you got to one guy buying $2 billion worth of art that is a guy around Putin, all of the Putin hangers on, and others have their basically all their cash transactions flailed across the internet. And so somebody actually got it all and then gave it to about 200 different journalists so that no one person could be intimidated not to let it out. But I always think that that's kind of exactly what happened in that Girl in the Dragon Tattoo. Just a thought. There's the English version of that movie with the guy that plays James Bond. I don't think it was as near as good as the Swedish ones or Norwegian ones. It was one of those. But like I said, couldn't understand anything they said. It's like they were speaking a whole different language. Lisbeth, yes, it was. Ed Snowden has been busy. I don't know about that too, but very interesting to see all those documents hacked, and I guess it's into the millions, so it's going to be a long time before everybody figures it all out. But the history people won't have a hard time writing the history of Russia at this time, and the oligarchs and the thiefdom. Pretty much the Tony Soprano-ism of Russia. Anyway, just thought, interesting thought. Anyway, we're going to look at some other stocks out here as we get into this. So we'll take a quick look. We can. Acadia Pharmaceuticals. Let's take a quick look at this one. I know it was moving earlier in the day. Haven't checked on it lately. Up $2, up 8%. A lot of upgrades and stuff like that in this one. Anyway, just wanted to take a quick look. 5.5 million shares at $31.12. That still puts us into this huge down candle. And that down candle was the 6th of January with 4.5 million shares. So, and we're into it with volume today. So probably a little reason why the IBB has a little juice behind it today on a rather flat day. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. I got a lot of stuff to look at out here. Let's take a quick look if there's anything else out here. A lot of gold stocks and movers today on a fairly flat day. Tesla is one of the stocks that is up. Man, do they have the almighty PR engine running on this one. All kinds of pre-orders, although the pre-orders don't really mean that much, and you'll have to be there in a year, and there wasn't that much money to actually reserve anything. But, of course, they say they have all these orders. It rings rather hollow to me. But still up a little less than $12 at $249.28. And that has you basically just above this gap that's been acting as resistance for a little while. And that gap down happened on the 6th of October last year. About 5 million shares, so not that much excitement out here. Let's see what the current volume on that is. What are we at? 10 million shares, so a little pop back up in here into this high 250 range. But, you know, a lot of people short this stock, and my guess is that it will top out when they quit shorting it. Probably the only reason it continues to go higher at the moment is continued short squeezes. Let's see if there's anything else out there. KDF, FlexNet. Let's find some other stuff out here. There we go. Wanted to look at some other stocks real quick of note. That one's just doing nothing. So we will move on. ALB, which is Abel Marley? I've never heard anybody actually pronounce this stock. It is flat on the day, but the reason I was looking at it is the action on Friday. He had some fairly decent volume of 2.4 million shares. And today, what do we have out here? 880,000 shares as we go up against the May 8th high of last year, $64.99. Energy just a little bit less on this right-hand side of the chart from the last major low on February 8th. It's been going up fairly significant. A lot of these stocks we've been talking about this pattern, which is can these things remain over a 9-day moving average for so many days? Now, on this one, you really have to go back to what? You have to go back to the 11th of February, and this thing is fairly much closed since then, every day above that 9-day moving average. And of course, a little higher out here today. What you really want to watch for is any pullback into this, because normally a lot of people have, if they bought the lows, are probably feeling pretty rich now. It won't take a lot to snag them, but I think we have a lot of double repo patterns that could set up on this one. And what do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 days above it. That is quite a rarity, but a good way to look for possible parabolic moves in stock, and pretty much the mathematical description of it. Other stocks of interest out here today is AZO. And this one's kind of bouncing around the top. I was kind of looking at possibly shorting this. The volume was a little higher than I would have liked to seen. But man, this thing's been banging against this $800 to $810 range. It's down a little over 14 bucks today at 791. Other than this thing just banging away at the highs, you have to think that this is a stock that's had a huge run for a long time. And you pretty much want to look at the December 9th high at 800 bucks that had 570,000 shares. As we look back through the last week, he had about 400,000 shares on the 23rd, 250,000 shares, 211,000 shares, 330,000 shares, 240,000 shares, 270,000 shares. And, today, what do we have? 160,000 shares. Just a lot of nothing once we get back up to this $800 level. And my guess is that you have a big seller round there. And that you see this thing down 14 bucks on buying day is very quizzical. I have to worry about it. Anyway, if you have any questions, give me a call at 877-927-6648. If you want to email me, you can at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post a message in the Tiger's Den. Andy Heck has a bunch of articles out here today on sugar and coffee and cotton, all kinds of commodities. Talking about changing your portfolio if it's a longer-term thing. A review of the metals and commodities and energy. A little bit of everything out here. He apparently has been a typing machine over the weekend. A bunch of articles on Seeking Alpha. You can check them out. Back up at the highs, we've got C.R. Baird and Company. I was watching this one just because of the light of volume that we saw on Friday. BCR. We look at this real quickly, and it's up $2, so not a whole lot, 206.99. So it is above these highs, but you really wanted to see some kind of volume come in as it goes through this August 6th high of last year. Basically, let's call it 1 million shares. When we get into the volume of the last few days, it is March 4th with, or actually March 29th with 200,000 shares. Next day we give, 327,000 shares, 457,000 shares. On Friday, 500,000 shares. And, of course, today, about 349,000 shares. So pretty much consistently seeing about half the volume of that previous August 6th high, which has to make me a little quizzical about how some of these stocks have literally no volume, and figuratively, too. Other stocks, Citrix Systems. Of course, the people that make GoToMeeting and other communications software for business, is up testing its high. CTXS. Watching this, energy was pretty good off the $60.91 low as we went back to February 11th. But a lot of these stocks have done nothing but go straight up, no retracements whatsoever. And, today we're off about 75 cents with 450,000 shares. But we've got right up into that December 8th high, $79.81 with 2.8 million shares. And, of course, we went 79.75, so what about 6 cents short on the day before we've gotten this pullback. But certainly into that candle with 2.8 million shares and, like I said, 450,000 million on Friday, but it's still a third, a little less than a third, or a little more than a third of that December 8th high. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. We're going to look at Vault Systems. And I don't know what they do, or if I've forgotten probably. So let's take a quick look and see what they do. Together with its subsidiaries, provides data, information management software applications, and related services primarily in North America, Europe, Australia, and Asia. The company develops, markets, and sells a suite of software applications and services under the Sapana brand. Never heard of it. Sapana software suite includes solutions for the backup and restoration of enterprise data for file systems. So, software backup, which is probably always a good deal. Anyway, as we look at them today, it's off 40 cents. It's coming through with 131,000 shares so far, so a pretty quiet day. It comes to my notice because it has a transgression. It is sinned. It has gone to the December 3rd high at $43.18. That had 850,000 shares. And we saw on Thursday 550,000 shares. Friday 341,000 shares. Today 131,000 shares. So some fairly light volume out here. Nice gap up and sign of strength, except it turned into a doji on the 27th of January. A lot of these stocks have popped with fairly high short interest rates or short interest. I don't know if that was an earnings date or not, but my guess is it probably was, or some decent amount of news. But coming back up to these highs, very, very light volume. And what else do we have? Flextronics. Always an interesting company. If you're unfamiliar with these folks, they kind of do in the United States what Foxconn does in China. That is, you have a bunch of electronic components that have to be assembled. You give it to these folks, and they'll set up an assembly line and crank it out, kind of like Jabil. Anyway, volume today, 1.4 million shares. It's off a quarter, just under a couple cents under $12. It's been getting into this October 20th high that had $12.10 with 10 million shares. I got into it on Friday with 4 million shares, and today with 1.4 million shares. Energy has been kind of light off that bottom. And let's do this, just make it look a little cleaner. It's really probably the last 2 weeks that makes me think that this is problematic at best. But a fairly light volume move out here and down a quarter. And you would think if there's any love for fun buying, it would have to be now. Jack in the Box. We talked about maybe this thing trying to make some kind of a bottom out here. I don't know. We'll get into McDonald's here in a second, just to look at this as a comparator. McDonald's was another one of these stocks that was sinning at highs because of low volume. This thing did bounce off a fairly light volume test of the February 18th low that had 8.2 million shares. Did it with 1/8 the volume, even a little less than that. The March 24th low came in at 820,000 shares. And of course, did pierce the previous low. It's closed back in there. I've been watching this one closely to see if there's anything out here. This is the pattern I like, which is you get a big blow up in the stock. It goes back up, tries to fill the gap, comes back down. But when it comes back down, it has very light volume on the right, on the downside leg. It does pierce the previous low. It does it so on 50% or lighter volume. Now, this one has done it on, 1/8 of the volume. But normally want to give it about 3 days. And if you don't get 3 days in there and get a sign of strength out there, generally that means you are going to at least come back and test the previous low. So I suspect you get at least one more shot at this one at $61.78. Now, if we look at McDonald's, it was another one of these stocks at highs, just the opposite, but just vapor of volume. And on today, we're up 72 cents, 2.4 million shares. But I'm looking for 10 million shares. That's the February 1st high, 124.83. Last couple of days, let's see, the last 3 days of last week, 4.8 million shares, 7.7 million shares. Friday, 5.2 million shares. Today, 2.4 million shares. And you're up a little bit, 127. Yeah, so we went through Friday's high. There isn't just a lot of juice out here. at these highs with lighter volume. So you want to keep an eye on that sector. I was thinking if you got a sign of strength in McDonald's, maybe that Jack in the Box would bottom out and make some kind of buy. I just don't see anything at the moment. Mattel, with its fancy little Barbies. Mattel is Barbie, isn't it? I think so. It's out here, and it's trying to test its high. I'm looking at the spike back from February 4th with 24 million shares. And see, I don't know what else you could say. 24 million shares, 34.36. Got into it on Friday with 4.5 million shares. Today we got 2 million shares. It's down 30 cents. Pretty good pattern setting up. You got two gaps, one at $31, another one at $28.50 down to $26. Either one of those, I think, could get filled in a pullback. But certainly, if you were looking to buy this thing, Mattel, you want to go back to the 2nd of February when this thing gapped up. The low of the day was 28.36 that day, and that's where you kind of want to get in if you're thinking that maybe this is going to be a good Christmas and the kids will not be getting small lumps of coal in their stockings. Pitney Bowes. Man, you used to see their equipment everywhere. Little stamp machines, all kinds of time machines, everything. I wonder what these guys even do anymore, because it looks to me like everything that they did has kind of gone away. But apparently somebody's buying this stock. Maybe something's going on I'm unaware of. I've been watching this December 1st high, $21.76 with 2.8 million shares. We've gotten within a little bit of that. 21.55 is the high today. It's off 20 cents with no volume. 700,000 shares so far. But, of course, you're going up against that December 1st high at 21.76. I just don't see a whole lot out here that would throw more gas on the fire of this up market. It just seems to be going kind of rather sideways. Let's check in with the S&P. We're off 7 points with 2.33 billion shares. So, again, very light volume all the way through my show. I guess they don't know that they need to do more during my show in the market. They're just not thinking of me like they should be. Other stocks on my list of things and stuff today is RPM. And what do we have? RPM International. Well, we're going to break. So you still have a great deal of time to give me a call or email me. And okay. Got an email about electronics. We will be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, consider the new Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar, in one powerful CD. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The April 14th funding deadline is quickly approaching, so hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're back. RPM International. And, an email about Flextronics. Dan says that Flextronics was one of his customers. And they've got a couple of big facilities in Poland and Hungary as well. I'm thinking back to probably circa 2000, and I don't know what's happened in the meantime, but both Jabil Circuits and Flextronics had assembly locations here in Tampa, and I don't know what's happened to them. I know the Flextronics, it closed one location and moved somewhere else, but I thought it was still in town around 2000. They had a big, huge strip mall that had closed and had taken it over for a while. I don't know if it was for a specific job, but I just remember going by it on the way to a Home Depot at one time and saying, man, Flextronics, wow, big warehouse-looking place. Looked like maybe a previously closed Sam's warehouse or something like that, about that size. And they were just manufacturing away. But I kind of vaguely remember seeing the thing with no body in the parking lot for about a year, and then eventually the land got sold. I think it was up past Curlew on US 19 here in Tampa. Maybe somebody else knows a little bit more about that, or maybe even Dan knows. But big manufacturing assembler of products out here. You can be like Dan and email me at path@tfnn.com or call me at 877-927-6648. RPM International. And let's read their profile so everybody does know. And that is markets and sells specialty chemical products for industrial and consumer products in the United States and internationally. The company's industrial segment offers waterproofing coatings, institutional roof systems, sealants, air barriers, tapes, foams, lotions, ointments. No, I added the lotions and ointments. Residential home weatherization systems, roofing and building maintenance and material services, polymer flooring systems, commercial decorative flooring, fiberglass reinforced plastic gratings and shapes for industrial platforms, staircases, walkways, corrosion control coatings, containment linings, fireproof and soundproofing products. Or as my friend of mine's dad once said, if they ain't got it, you don't need it. Apparently these guys have more things than Carter has pills. Have you heard that one in a long time? That was one big one that when I was growing up in the 70s, I used to hear older gentlemen say that. You haven't heard it in a long time. RPM. So as we look at here, it's up 37 cents today, 623,000 shares. So you got some decent volume, but again, 48.31 breaks these previous two highs. The one I'm interested in is the high volume high on December 1st, $47.79, 1.4 million shares. Again, 760,000 shares on Friday. Today, we got about 623,000 shares. But we're right into that. And of course, we're coming down on the bar of, what is that, July 16th of 2015. And that was 1.4 million shares, too. So you've got a couple 1.4 million share days out here as this tries to go into it. Just not a lot of juice. You do have a gap at 50, and I'd probably be a little happier if this thing hit the $50 mark and continued with light volume to pull the trigger on it. Energy has not been that bad off the lows, but man, the last week or so has not been fantastic. RYN, Rayonier. RYN, let's punch that up real quick. It's off 30 cents today. Of course, not a lot of big movers out here today for the most part. It was a little short on volume on Friday. 1.3 million shares to 1 million shares. When was that out? It actually came up on a million shares, on the 31st. And I always use the highest volume within 0.5% of a high of the stock. It may go a little higher the next day, but I'm looking for peak energy around the 0.5% of that high. So when you hear the numbers I'm giving you, that's basically what I'm talking about. Within the 0.5% of the high, how much volume came in. If you had, if you went at 1 penny higher, I'm not using the volume the day after when it comes in with 1/10 of the volume. I'll use the day before's volume and the price point of the highest day. But I'm looking within a 0.5%. Did volume come into that high? Did it, actually push it, even if it missed it the next day? But we're piercing this, and of course, on lighter volume, and of course, just 300,000 shares today, off 30 cents. So have gone up to this with 30% light volume and pulling back. So there are some stocks out here leaving some breadcrumbs into what's going on. SMTC is Simtech Corporation. And this one's beating against its gap here at around that $22 level. Today, 166,000 shares. It's off a nickel, not a whole lot. But we are going back into this big gap down day of May 28th from last year. 4.6 million shares. Tried to spike into it with 2.2 million shares, and that was on the March 3rd high. On April 1st, 300,000 shares. Today, 166. We can just see as we get back up to these resistance levels, there is light volume ad nauseum. He's going to win. Got any more emails? Wants to look at Microsoft, MSFT. If I can actually, MSFT. Take a quick look at this. Run. Is it from Hialeah? I think that's how it's pronounced. I know the game is Highlight. I wonder if that's because it was from Hialeah. I never knew that. MSFT probably was. We've got it down 33 cents today. Volume pushing 12 million shares today. Again, you've got some fairly high volume highs. Above $55 February 1st, you're in at 83 million shares. And, of course, 41 million shares from the December 29th high. Saying, just the kind of lackadaisical volume. Even the last 3 days of last week, where we came in with 26 million, 24 million, and on Friday was 24 million, 26 million, and 23 million shares. The last 3 days of last week, just not a whole lot of juice. What I think sets up a bigger trading range in Microsoft is probably a test of the 56.85. There's just not a lot of juice. If you look at the move down from December 29th to the January 20th low, you really had a great deal of energy. You're about 20% lighter from this February 8th low up to the recent high. But what I dislike is that this did not come back and test that January 20th low with lighter volume to really speak of. It came in about 4 million shares light, 63 million shares to 59 million shares. Not enough for me. Makes me think that there's still a bigger trading range setting up, probably between this 55, 56 range down to this 48, 49 range. We'll be back in a minute.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Well, I have to say the first day of Major League Baseball is absolutely beautiful down here in Florida. Of course, they've all left to go back to their hometowns, but absolutely gorgeous down here today. If not a little cool when I got up, but you just can't. This is we've got about 4 more weeks of wonderful weather and about 2 months of heat and frustration, and we get it back into September and everything's back. So we're getting to our hot and humid part of the year, and what else can you say? Swift transportation. We talked about this one last week, and that it looked to be going nowhere fast. Today it's up a quarter at 1840. So trying to get back up into this area, which is the March 31st high. Today it's, let's call it 1.6 million shares going against the 4.4 million shares of January 23rd. So it continues to kind of push up to these levels. 1840 right now. It got to 1867. So it is certainly over that. If this would close back underneath that, I think you could probably say you've got a fairly decent sign of a high. Like I said, it really looks to me like we've got some nice big trading ranges opening up on this one. You go back to the high volume day of the 26th of January where this thing popped. I think a lot of it had to do with movements in crude and gasoline and diesel. This popped up on 16.3 million shares on the 26th of January, leaving that gap open. And you would think that, a good sign of strength. You had a couple days out here with huge volume that really makes you have to kind of scratch your head a little bit. But certainly I continue to see this thing out here in this level. And it just looks like maybe you'd be in a nice trading range back down to that $14 level. You've got a few gaps actually at that price range and setup. I just don't see any real energy when we look on Friday with 3 million shares. So you got close to that 4.4 million shares, but that you pushed it today again in 1.6 million shares makes me think Swift Transportation is not swiftly going higher, but maybe meandering lower. What else do we have here? Take two. We got just enough time, I think, for one last one. So we'll take two. See what I did right there? Yeah, a little bit of artistic license. Take Two Interactive. TTWO is the symbol on this one. Off 45 cents. Another one banging against its eyes with very light volume. The November 6th high of last year, 4.3 million shares at $37. That's been acting as resistance levels. Tried to take it out on the on March 1st with 2.7 million shares. Last few days, what do we have? 1.2, 1.7, and 1.2, 1.5. Certainly a lot less than that 4.3 million share spike on November 6th. And just slight volume. So we're back in the trading range, $37.54. And to actually say that this thing is truly back in it, any close below $37 would probably set up its trading range, which seems to be somewhere between $31, let's call it mid 31s, up to this $38 range. So I think we've got a lot of these stocks that are setting up for a bigger trading range unless we get some kind of huge volume. Of course, today is pretty much the close of fund buying. If someone put off their Christmas buying season in a fund manager, maybe you get some more tomorrow morning. But if this is as good as it gets for fund buying, they are not impressing me. Anyway, sell when you can, not when you have to. Cover when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.